Welcome to my Senior to Seniors Shorts podcast. My Shorts podcast is just an abbreviated version of my long play Senior to Seniors podcast. And today we're talking about the 5-year rule for a home price perspective. Headlines are saying right now that home prices are starting to dip in some markets. And if you're beginning to second guess your plans to purchase or even sell a home based on what you're hearing in the media, here's what you need to know. It's true that a few metros are seeing slight price drops, but don't let that overshadow this simple truth. Home values almost always go up over time. While everyone remembers what happened around the housing crash of 2008, that was an exception and not the rule. It hadn't happened before, and it hasn't happened since. There were many market dynamics that were drastically different back then as well, from relaxed lending standards to lack of homeowner equity and even a large oversupply of homes. It was a very different situation from where the national housing market is today. So every headline about prices slowing down, normalizing, or even dipping doesn't need to trigger fear that another big crash is coming, because it isn't. Here's something that explains why short-term dips usually aren't a long-term deal breaker. So, what's the 5-year rule? In real estate, you might hear talk about the 5-year rule. The idea is that if you plan to own your home for at least 5 years, short-term dips in prices usually don't hurt you much. That's because home values almost always go up in the long run. Even if prices drop a bit for a year or two, they tend to bounce back and some over time. Take it from Lance Lambert, co-founder of Reza Club. He says, there's the 5-year rule of thumb in real estate, which suggests that most buyers can buffer themselves from mild short-term declines if they plan to own a property for at least that amount of time. So, what's happening in today's market? Here's something else to put your mind to ease. Right now, most housing markets are still seeing home prices rise, just not as fast as they were a few years ago. But in the major metros where prices are starting to cool off a little, the average drop is only about 2.9% since April of 2024. That's not a major decline like we saw back in 2008. And when you look at the graph that's posted on my Facebook page that I'll mention in a few minutes, it's clear that prices in most of those markets are up significantly compared to where they were 5 years ago. And you'll see that in the graph on the blue bars. So those homeowners are still ahead if they've been in their house for a few years or more. The big picture, over the past 5 years, home prices have risen a staggering 55%, according to the Federal Housing Finance Agency. So a small short-term dip isn't a significant loss. Even if your city is one where they're down 2% or so, you're still up far more than that. And if you break those 5-year gains down even further, using data from FHFA, you'll see home values are up in every single state over the last 5 years. And again, you'll see that on the map that I'll direct you to. That's why it's important not to stress too much about what's happening this month or even this year. If you're in it for the long haul, and most homeowners are, your home is likely to grow in value over time. So What's the bottom line? Yes, prices can shift in the short term, but history shows that home values almost always go up over 5 years. So, whether you're thinking of buying or selling, remember the 5-year rule and take comfort in the long view. When you think about where you want to be in 5 years, how does owning a home fit into that picture? Best advice, connect with an agent to discuss how to get there. I would like to be that agent for you. And by the way, the accompanied graphs mentioned in this article can be easily found on my Dell Web at Trinity Falls Real Estate and Lifestyle Facebook page. That's my Dell Web at Trinity Falls Real Estate and Lifestyle Facebook page. That's the Dell Web at Trinity Real Estate and Lifestyle Facebook page. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today on Senior to Senior Shorts. Have a fantastic day.